Hello and a very warm welcome to Cultural Communication Confidence with me, Victoria Reynoldson, and a very warm welcome to this latest episode where we're talking about amplify your verbal communication with your voice. Now, I wanted to talk about this topic because voice is so important when we think about how we want to connect and engage with others. It makes a huge difference when we're thinking about our public speaking, our presentations, our talks, and it is part of the tools that we have available to us, including the messaging, what we say, but also things like non-verbal communication, such as our body language, our hand gestures, and our facial expressions. When we use our voice impactfully, when we use it for effect, it can really make a very big difference. However, it is something which can be culturally driven. So when we think about the cultural value of expressiveness, for some cultures, they tend to speak in a more monotone way, and this communicates a more professional and in control impression. Whereas for other cultures, they tend to express in a very highly expressive way. So that means with high energy, speaking more quickly, and with lots of volume to their voice as well. So reflect now on your own cultural value, your own preference, shall I say, around this cultural value of expressiveness. How do you usually speak? Are you somebody who is aware of your voice and how you use it to really amplify your messages? I'm going to share here today 3 key techniques that you can use with your voice to vary it and to get that better engagement. Now, the first area I want to talk about is pace and pauses. Now, this one can be a little challenging. When we're nervous, we tend to speak more quickly, and this might mean our messages get lost and people don't really follow what we're saying. Equally, if we speak too slowly and in a monotone way, then this is not engaging and we might lose people. And this is particularly a problem in the virtual space where people get distracted anyway very quickly. So we need to get the pace right and have the pauses in the right places. So how do we do this? Well, if your challenge is about nervousness and speaking too fast, then this technique is a really nice idea to slow you down, especially at the start of your speaking. So what you do is, let's imagine that you're doing a talk, you've just been introduced, and then rather than starting straight away, it can be nice just to pause, smile, breathe, look around the room, even if it's virtual, and then start. This extra beat, this extra pause will just remind you to start slowly and to feel like that you're in control. If you find yourself speeding up again during the talk, then again, just take a moment to pause, smile, look around the room before you continue. But what if it's really about also how do you use pace and pauses in the presentation itself for impact? Well, we can plan this. Now, naturally, we tend to pause at the end of sentences. That is the normal way and normal place that we pause. However, we can do things where we draw attention and focus people on a message by pausing right in the middle of a sentence, just like I did there. So you can see that you can really create the attention by confidently pausing and allowing people that time to process what you're saying. The final thing to say on pace and pauses is really to ensure that you are varying it during your talk. Now, there are different paces and pauses that we can do, but really, if we stick to the same pace all the time, this can get boring for people to listen to us. So we can choose where we want to slow down and really get people to think. We can choose where we want to get faster and really get people excited about something. And that's connected to energy as well. So play with this, reflect on your natural style, and then experiment and see what works for you. The next area I want to talk about today is energy. Now, energy in your voice can be connected to demonstrating your personality, and it's certainly about expressiveness. What I think is it depends on the topic about how you want to approach this. But clearly, using your voice in an expressive way to communicate your energy can be a brilliant way to connect with people listening to you and build that rapport so that they feel your energy literally. So you have to choose, what is the energy that you're going for? Are you going for calm and professional? Are you going for energetic and passionate and people can really feel your enthusiasm? Or are you going for more of a conversational tone of voice? So really reflect on this. Pick the one that works for you for your topic. And then how do we communicate energy? Well, it probably seems clear from the examples I just did that pace, of course, plays into this as well. So there is an overlap between pace and energy. But in addition, it can be connected to volume, making sure that when you're in high energy, that the volume of your voice goes up. The only watch out with this is you don't want to go too loud. Being too loud for the space can come across as overconfident or even aggressive. So just watch that balance. And then you can also include warmth in your voice. So how do you do this? Well, I want you to imagine that you're putting a smile into your voice. And we can do this by emphasizing the vowels. So if you're expressing a point of view, for example, I could say, I feel strongly about this. Or I could say, I feel strongly about this. I emphasize the word feel and really emphasize the vowels there. So that is how I got the warmth across. I can also say, I hear you. Or I could say with more warmth, I hear you. And then the final example, I understand or I understand. So just by emphasizing these vowels in the words, you can actually add the warmth to your voice. The final area that I want to talk about here today is around emphasizing key words. And what I want you to imagine is that when you write something, we have lots of techniques that are available to us. For example, we can make words bold, we can use italics or underline, we can use bullets and headlines and headers. When it comes to our voice, we have the same tools available, and that includes emphasizing key words, but perhaps by making them more bold in the sentence that we're saying. Now, this is great because it can help us really, again, focus the attention in on the key message. And there are two ways that we can do this, or two ways I want to share here. There are many ways we can do it. The first way is to slow the word down so that people really notice that slowing down and they realize this is an important word. The other technique is to make the word louder, so connected to volume again, so that the people know this is the most important point. And that's just an example of how you do it. So as we come to the end of today's episode, let me ask you, how aware are you of your voice today and how you're using it for impact and effect when you're communicating in your talks, presentations, and public speaking? which of these techniques really resonate with you and do you think you could try out? Is it the pace and pauses? Is it about energy in your voice? Or is it about emphasizing key words? And how can you use your voice to elevate and amplify what you say to really ensure that you are speaking like a pro? I would love to know. So feel free to share with me. And you got my links to contact me below or reach out to me on LinkedIn. But that would be really interesting to hear what your experiences are. Now, as we come to the end of today's episode, if you are somebody who is an international executive on their journey, growing their career globally, and you resonate with this idea of amplifying and elevating your communication, then I have an individual coaching program, Global Executive Communication, which is talking about all aspects of communication to help you reach the next level in your career. We'll be talking about communication confidence, handling difficult conversations, and connecting with cultural intelligence. If that sounds like it's for you and you are that person who would really appreciate that support on their journey in their career, then get in touch to learn more and apply. And as we come to this end, I also want to say thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I have been receiving some comments in the last few weeks in response to the episodes I've been recording here. And I am very grateful for your feedback. It means a lot to me to know that this is working, that this is happening, that people are being connected through the power of communication and cultural intelligence. And if you have really enjoyed today's episode, then I would greatly appreciate it if you could think about who else would benefit from this. Feel free to share this episode with them. And if you're feeling like you're particularly supportive today, I would greatly appreciate it if you could rate or leave me a review on your podcast platform or on YouTube about what you find particularly useful about this podcast. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Cultural Communication Confidence, and I very much look forward to seeing you next time.